Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and as voted by the community, today's video is going to be showcasing a rematch from the Prop 15-3 format. On one side, we've got the Blaine's Rapidash and Wigglytuff deck, going up against the Brock's Golbat and Gengar deck on the other side, with both lists created by Klaczynski. So we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. But before we begin, I wanted to give a huge shout out to YouTube user @Moops for the super thanks. Thanks a lot, Moops, your support is very much appreciated. And like always, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel and to my Twitter account @Holland_Phantom so you don't miss out on any new Pokemon TCG content. And now with that out of the way, let's get into the battle. And here we go, the battle has started, with both players flipping over their starting Pokemon. On the Rapidash side, we've got Kangaskhan as the active Pokemon, and on the Golbat side, we've got Gastly as the active Pokemon. The Rapidash side is going first, activating Pokemon Trader to swap Rapidash from the hand for a Wigglytuff from the deck, which comes down onto the bench, and now we see a Fire Energy coming down to the Kangaskhan to attack with Fetch, drawing a card out of the deck, and now over to the other side. Okay, the player's going to be benching a Lickitung, and that's going to be it. No trainer cards or energy cards were played. Back over to the Rapidash side. Then we see a Fire Energy coming down to the Wigglytuff. And now it evolves into Wigglytuff, one of the main attackers of this deck. Followed by a Scyther coming down. And there's another Fetch attack, drawing another card out of the deck. Quickly back over to the other side. A Psychic Energy comes down to the Gastly, and going straight for the attack, Lick. It's going to be Tails on the coin flip, so it does not actually do anything, as Kangaskhan is resistant to Psychic-type Pokemon. On the Rapidash side, a Full Heal Energy comes down to the Wigglytuff, and then we see Gust of Wind to bring the opposing Lickitung into the active spot now. And then we see Computer Search being activated, discarding a Magmar and Kangaskhan from the hand for any card from the deck. The card chosen is going to be Professor Oak, which is now activated. The player's going to be able to draw 7 new cards. There's the cards being drawn. Let's see what else they get for this turn. And Blaine's Ponyta comes down to the bench. And there's Fetch once again, drawing a card from the deck. Over to the Golbat side now. Now the player activates Pokemon Trader, swapping out a Gengar from the hand for which Pokemon? Okay, it's going to be the Brock Zubat coming down onto the bench now. It's going to be the main attacker once it evolves into Golbat. Then we see a Super Energy removal, getting rid of the energy from Gastly and both the energy from the Wigglytuff. Now Full Heal Energy comes down to the active Lickitung, followed by Professor Oak, discarding the entire hand to draw 7 new cards. And let's see what they get for this turn. No more cards are played. There's the attack Tongue Wrap, hitting for 10 damage, and Tails on the coin flip, so nothing else happens. Over to the Rapidash side now. Pokemon Trader is activated, swapping out a Wigglytuff from the hand for a Pokemon from the deck, and it's going to be Grimer coming down onto the bench. Once Grimer evolves into Muck, it's going to be able to shut off all other Pokemon powers with its Toxic Gas. Now a Fire Energy comes down to the Wigglytuff, and there's Fetch. On the Golbat side now, a second Gastly comes down to the bench, and a Psychic Energy is equipped to the Brock Zubat. Okay, now it evolves into Golbat. There's the attack by Lickitung, Tongue Wrap, hitting for another 10 damage, and it's going to be heads this time, so Kangaskhan is going to be paralyzed. It cannot attack or retreat. On the Rapidash side now, second Fire Energy comes down to the Wigglytuff. And now Grimer evolves into Muck, activating its Pokemon power, Toxic Gas. Turn passes, Kangaskhan goes back to normal. And now Golbat gets a double colorless energy to fully power it up, followed by another Zubat coming out of the bench. And there's another Tongue Wrap attack. It's going to be another heads, once again paralyzing Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan has now taken 30 damage from this Lickitung. On the Rapidash side now, a third energy comes down to the Wigglytuff. It is now fully powered up. The player just needs to get it into the active spot. And there we see a Super Energy removal, getting rid of the Fire Energy from Kangaskhan and all the energy from the Brock's Golbat. That is a huge disruption. Now turn passes. On the Golbat side now, the player has to start powering up their Golbat once again. There we see getting a Psychic Energy onto the Golbat. And there's Super Energy removal. Once again, targeting down the opposing Wigglytuff, getting rid of 2 Fire Energy from it. Now we see another Professor Oak, once again drawing 7 new cards out of the deck. Do they have any more Pokemon to use? Lickitung cannot attack as the energy was attached to Golbat this turn. Okay, one of the Gastly evolves into a Haunter, and the second Zubat evolves into another Golbat. There we see Pokemon Trader swapping out a Gastly for Another Haunter, so all the Pokemon on the bench have now evolved. And that's going to be it. Turn passes. Over to the Rapidash side now. Fire Energy comes down to the Kangaskhan. No more cards to play, and there's the Fetch attack. Drawing a card. Back over to the Golbat side. They're really quick turns. Okay, one of the Haunter evolves into Gengar. Lickitung gets a Psychic Energy and attacks with Tongue Wrap. Does 10 damage, but no paralysis. And now Wigglytuff gets a second Fire Energy again. Followed by another Computer Search, discarding a Magmar and a Fire Energy from the hand for any card from the deck. Okay, there's a chosen card. Let's see what it's going to be. And it's going to be another Professor Oak. Once again, discarding the hand to draw 7 new cards. These players are just drawing through as many cards as they can to set up their fields before they can start attacking and dealing some real damage. Another Jigglypuff comes down to the bench. The player now has a full bench, and there's another Fetch, drawing another card out of the deck. On the Golbat side, Golbat gets double colorless energy, once again powering it up. And there's Tongue Wrap. Kangaskhan has now taken 50 damage, and once again it's going to be paralyzed. Okay, over to the other side once again. Wigglytuff gets Fire Energy, and the second Jigglypuff evolves into another Wigglytuff, and turn passes. Very, very quick turns. Okay, the second Golbat now gets a Psychic Energy. There's another Tongue Wrap. And it's going to be Tails this time, no paralysis. But Kangaskhan is down to just 30 HP remaining. The second Wigglytuff now gets a Fire Energy. Just starting to get powered up. There's another Fetch, drawing a card out of the deck. Now the Golbat player discards 2 Psychic Energies with an item finder to get back Professor Oak. Drawing 7 more cards out of the deck. The player does have to be careful not to deck themselves out. That is a real possibility in this format. There's not a lot of recycling. There we see a Pokemon Trader swapping out a Mankey from the hand for... Okay, a second Gengar coming down. They have the Pokemon Power Curse to move damage around the opposing side, but they cannot use them thanks to the ability of the Muck on the opposing side. There we see another Tongue Wrap hitting for 10 damage, no paralysis coming through. And now the second Wigglytuff gets a double colorless energy. It is now fully powered up. And Ponyta finally evolves into Rapidash. There we see a Super Scoop Up, getting the Kangaskhan back into the player's hand, finally getting it out of the active spot. To promote one of the Wigglytuff, the player is finally going on the offensive. There's the attack, Do the Wave, hitting for 50 damage. 10 damage plus 10 more damage for every Pokemon on the player's bench. And now Golbat gets its own double colorless energy. Both Golbat are now fully powered up. And then Lickitung attacks with Tongue Wrap, inflicting paralysis to the Wigglytuff and dealing 10 damage to it. Oh, but now the player attaches a full heal energy to get rid of all status conditions. Wigglytuff goes back to normal. It can finally take the KO. There's the attack, Do the Wave, taking the first KO of the game and the first prize. Rapidash is taking the early lead. Okay, there we see the first Golbat coming into the active spot. One of the Gengar gets a Psychic-type energy. And there's the attack. Spiral Dive, hitting everything on the opposing side for 10 damage apiece. There we see all the damage coming down now. On the Rapidash side, Rapidash gets its first Fire Energy. It looks like the players are just going to be moving some Pokemon around on their bench to make things a little more efficient. There we see it's a lot of energy on both sides. There's Do the Wave hitting Golbat for 50 damage. Gengar now gets a second Psychic-type energy, just needs one more to be fully powered up. And there we see another Spiral Dive hitting everything once again for 10 damage apiece. And if the player had access to the Gengar's abilities, it could be moving this damage around to take some easy KOs. But first they have to get rid of Muck. Okay, on the Rapidash side, Rapidash gets double colorless energy to fully powered up, and there we see Do the Wave taking the KO against Golbat, and that is 2 prizes taken by the Rapidash player. And now one of the Gengar comes into the active spot. It just needs one more energy. And there it is. It now has access to Dark Mind. Although Wigglytuff is resistant to Psychic-type Pokemon, the player activates Computer Search, discarding 2 cards from their hand for any card from their deck. There's the chosen card. We might be seeing a Gust of Wind to take a KO against the Muck. And there we go, a Gust of Wind, bringing the Muck into the active spot. And now Gengar can take the KO, as it does hit it for weakness. So on the following turn, they will have access to their Cursed Pokemon powers. There's the attack, Dark Mind, to take the KO against Muck, and then hitting one of the bench Wigglytuff for 10 damage. And now Golbat has taken their first prize, but they are still one prize behind. Okay, there we see Wigglytuff coming back into the active spot now. And now the player activates their own computer search, discarding Kangaskhan and Professor Oak from their hand for any card from their deck. And they're going to be choosing another Grimer. Okay, they're going to be trying to establish another Muck to once again shut off the opponent's curse abilities on their Gengar. A Fire Energy comes down to the Scyther now. And there's Do the Wave, hitting Gengar for 50 damage. On the other side, okay, Gengar's going to be retreating, it looks like. Yeah, going back to the bench to promote Brock's Golbat. And let's see what they can do. Okay, there we see both of the Cursed Pokemon powers activating, moving 20 damage off of Scyther. Onto Grimer. Okay, they're going to be trying to knock it out before it evolves. Their Spiral Dive hitting everything for 10 damage. So the active Wigglytuff has taken 50 damage so far. And now Grimer on the bench is down to just 20 HP if it doesn't evolve in the following turn. Both of the Gengar can knock it out with their curse abilities. There we see another Fire Energy coming down to the Scyther. Does the player have a Muck? No, they don't. There we see Do the Wave hitting for 50 damage. And it looks like Grimer is going to be getting KO'd this turn. A third Psychic Energy comes down to the Gengar on the bench. And there's the Cursed Pokemon powers, moving 20 damage from Rapidash and Scyther onto Grimer to knock it out. And that is another prize taken by Golbat. And now Mr. Mind comes down onto the bench. There's the attack. Spiral Dive, hitting everything for 10 damage once again. The active Wigglytuff is down to just 20 HP remaining, so both of the Gengar can knock it out on the following turn with their abilities. Although it does look like the Rapidash player does have the advantage. They have a lot of powered-up Pokemon on their side of the field. There's the Do the Wave, taking the KO against Golbat. And that is the third prize taken by Rapidash. Now Mr. Mime comes into the active spot. It does have the Pokemon power Invisible Wall. It cannot be damaged by any attacks dealing 30 or more damage. They receive both of the curse abilities, moving damage from Rapidash onto the active Wigglytuff to take the KO against it. Now both sides are tied, 3 prizes remaining. The second Wigglytuff now comes into the active spot. And now Mr. Mime gets a Potion Energy, and that's going to be it. Turn passes. Oh, it looks like the player finally realized that Wigglytuff cannot deal any damage to Mr. Mime, so Wigglytuff retreats to promote Blaine's Rapidash. Rapidash is the only Pokemon on the field that can hit this Mr. Mime with its Fire main attack, only hitting for 20 damage. Okay, there we see a Lickitung coming down for the Golbat player, gets a Psychic Energy, and now Mr. Mime's going to be retreating to promote the Lickitung. They're going to be trying to stall out by using Paralysis. But first, there we see a Curse, moving the damage from Rapidash onto the benched Wigglytuff. They're going to be trying to knock it out before it gets powered up again. And there's Tongue Wrap, hitting Rapidash for 10 damage. Is it going to be paralyzed? No, it's not. Okay, on the other side, the second Ponyta on the bench evolves into another Rapidash. There's the attack. It's going to be Stamp, hitting for 30 damage. Plus potentially more if they get heads on this coin flip. And yes, it's going to be heads. Lickitung takes 10 damage, and so does everything else on the bench. So Mr. Mime is down to just 10 HP remaining. Okay, a computer search is activated by the player, discarding 2 cards from the hand for... let's see which card they're going to be choosing. They still have to take 3 KOs this turn, but they're not dealing a whole lot of damage. Okay, there we see a Brock Zubat coming down and gets a Psychic-type energy. There's one of the Gengar abilities, moving the damage from Rapidash onto the Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is down to 20 HP, and there's a Tongue Wrap, dealing 10 damage, and Rapidash is paralyzed. It cannot attack. Okay, to the Rapidash side now. Oh, the player has a full heal energy to restore Rapidash back to normal. And immediately attacks with Stamp. Here's the coin flip. And it is Tails. It only hits for 30 damage. Lickitung is down to 20 HP remaining. It can be KO'd on the following turn. On the Golbat side, does the player have the Golbat? Yes, they do. Zubat evolves into Golbat now. There we see Curse. Moving 10 damage onto Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is down to just 10 HP remaining. There we see Tongue Wrap. Okay, once again getting ahead, so Rapidash is paralyzed. Cannot attack or retreat unless they have another full heal energy. There we see another, not Wigglytuff, Jigglypuff coming down. And yes, the player does have the full heal. Rapidash once again heals. And it should be able to take the KO against this Lickitung now. There's the attack. Stamp, here's a coin flip. And it's heads! So the player does take the KO against Lickitung and Mr. Mime, taking 2 prizes at once. Everything else on the bench takes 10 damage. And now the Rapidash player is down to just 1 more prize. They gotta take 1 more KO to win this game, and it looks like they might pull it off. Okay, the player's debating which Pokemon to send into the active spot. It might have to be this Golbat, is the only thing that can attack and tank a hit. Okay, let's see what else the player can do. There we see the Curse, taking the KO against the opposing Wigglytuff. They take another prize. The Golbat player is down to 2 prizes remaining. But they can't deal that much damage just yet. Okay, there we see a dive attack hitting Rapidash for 20 damage. But it's done. It still has 50 HP. Oh, but the Rapidash player is decked out. They have no more cards left in deck. Oh, but they still have the winning card, Gust of Wind, to bring up the damaged Gengar. And there's the final attack. Stamp to take the KO against Gengar and take the final prize. And there's the handshake. Blaine's Rapidash is your winner. So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.